selected, baffled by all the freaking razor options. Good news. Our 4 and 6 blade razors now come in one box so you can try both. Nice. Now add a store near you. And check out more stuff at dollarshaveclub.com.
Spisak here just trying to screw Danny over and like count crazy numbers in her head while
Danny's counting down, okay? Very serious. Everybody got super serious. 1, 2, and I'm like, 7! Like I'm 12 years old.
But Danny is so good at this. She didn't it didn't affect her at all.
She didn't bat an eye. She's like an actor's talking. I'm sorry, it's just like a buzzing I hear. Like,
dude, I swear to God, she's like a showrunner who's like, whatever, the actor's talking now. We're going live in 5, 4, 3, shut up, Ramasa. We're going live. 2, 1, go. Okay, for real, let me give a proper intro. Guys, did I say it correctly? Spisak or Spisak?
Well, it's spisak with a spi at the beginning. Spisak.
I should have asked this.
I mean, technically, if you're Czech, Russian, you say spisak.
Spisak.
So, but it's S-P-I-S-A-K. So most people just calls me Spisak.
Okay. Guys, Jason Spisak is an incredibly talented voice actor, and you've also done on camera.
What? Yes, I have actually done a few on-camera things. Actually, this last year, Intersect came out, which was a sci-fi feature film that I produced and starred in, and it was #1 on iTunes in the U.S. anyway for 2 weeks in both horror and sci-fi. Yeah, it's a sci-fi light horror. It's called Intersect, and you can just go grab it on iTunes or Amazon or whatever right now.
intersect. We have a bunch of people here that love that genre, or the mix of those genres.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people saying hi because they just joined. I did a TikTok live just before this, a very short one, and brought them onto here, and they're here. So welcome, guys. This is really exciting because you know now there are new guests.
It's like you have your own little cachet. They following you from media.
Well, they don't always cross-pollinate, so you got to tell the people here to watch here to, you know, it's just...
Oh, that's true. Yeah, some people have, like, they spend their time in TikTok because that's where they spend their time, or they spend their time on Instagram or whatever, so, or Twitch. So, yeah, it's good to get people aware of where you're at.
To cross-pollinate. Yeah, especially, particularly when I'm interviewing voice actors that I find so talented and incredible. I want to spread like the knowledge. Like, you don't know Jason Spisak. You need to know who he is.
You don't know Jason Spisak, but let me tell you that if you have to encounter him or his work, it's like that really awful Spanish accent that you hear. It almost sounds like Balky, and it's like, what is happening? Jason Spisak is here on the line with me. Yeah, well, thank you. You don't have to tell everybody that I'm talented, but that was very kind of you.
You are. The intro has... Talented. I have tried... this is my third intro to Jason, but I do want to let y'all know who don't know that Jason plays the Joker. He's Yukon in Gears, the video game, which is really fun. Kid Flash and Young Justice.
Yukon. Oh, yeah, Kid Flash.
Yukon. I knew that.
It doesn't matter. Yukon, whatever.
Yeah. People are like, whoa, Kid Flash.
Kid Flash.
Someone misses you as Razor. Who's Razor?
Yes, Razor is a DC comic, sort of a anti-hero that was created for Green Lantern, the animated series by Bruce Timm. And he's not in the comics. Razor only appeared in the Green Lantern, the animated series TV show. And Razor was awesome. His storyline was incredibly... He falls in love with an artificial intelligence that ended up taking on the appearance of his dead fiance. And it's a really cool... It's a cartoon, but it's made by some of the same folks that made Star Wars Clone Wars and Avatar The Last Airbender. Giancarlo Volpe was one of the artists on that too. And it's a great story. It's like they got to tell this story within a story because it's not about Green Lantern. It's not about Hal Jordan. It's the characters that didn't exist in the comics, so they had a lot of freedom with it. So the story is very memorable. A lot of fans really like it. So hey, thanks for enjoying it and watching.
Yeah.
Let's see. Razor says stuff like, "Congratulations! After weeks of stalking Shard, you've unlocked the secret as to where they dump their garbage. Total victory cannot be far behind." Like he's just like this.
Like he doesn't move his jaw.
No, he's very dry, but he's also incredibly angry. So when he's not just super sarcastic and shooting arrows, he's screaming with full-on rage. So it's a very cool character.
Holy cow!
That's where he gets his power from his.
Would you say that you play? I mean, because Ukon is also like this, like evil.
Ukon, yeah. I mean, Ukon is feed those arrogant little gears their own entrails. Yeah,
he also has this like. Yeah.
It's all this teeth and 7 foot tall lizard guy with an extra row of teeth and an asthma attack. It's basically what he is.
Do you think of that when you're creating the character, or it just happens and then you're like, oh, it sounds like an asthma attack?
I ask the writers and artists for every single thing they have. So, like, pictures, images, videos, story, just open the floodgates of attention and let them inform me as to what this is supposed to become. And then I work it out, and then I bring it to life, right? So if you saw, when I was doing Ukon, the original audition said, in the audition, I shit you not, it said, looking for someone to go full-on Cumberbatch like the dragon in The Hobbit here. Like, this is what they put for the words, because, like, you know, when he did the dragon in The Hobbit, like, he was doing all this stuff, you know, he's a stage guy, and I am too, and so that's what I did. I mean, like, I looked at the picture, and the artwork is just this incredibly beautiful lizard face with teeth, and he's 7 foot tall, so there's this embodiment you have to do that's a little bigger than you, and I just kind of put it all together.
The funny
and he suffers from asthma attacks.
Super surprised. I mean, you know, people like to think that voice actors are just in a booth, right? Because we are, for the most part, in a small booth. But when we do mocap, you know, like a lot of stuff starts happening.
Yeah, that's very different. I mean, it's a different section of the business where you're asked to bring a character to life for face and body. So there's voice, face, and body. And if they have you do motion capture, it's just body. If they have you do performance capture, it's either face, well, it's face and body. That's performance capture. And facial capture is just face. With voice, right? So it's like performance capture is you and I getting to do what we did in theater plus film plus VO all at the same time. It's the ultimate joy, at least for me.
Did you trained in theater?
Yes, I had a BFA from Syracuse.
Are you a New Yorker originally?
No. I think you and I might have discussed this once. I was born in Pennsylvania. I moved to North Carolina and then to Arizona and then to New York for school. But I used to always go up to Rochester because that's where my cousins lived. So I spent a fair bit of time in New York, but not New York City. Like I never actually lived there. I went out to LA once I graduated. Vera Farmiga was actually a classmate of mine.
Shut the front door. I think she's so rad.
She's freaking awesome. We used to go jogging together and we played piano together. And Vera will never see this, but I had the biggest crush on her. And I was like so inconsequential. Just tell you.
I don't blame you because she's gorgeous. And
she's amazing and talented too.
Yeah.
That was just this
Faith Motel.
Oh yeah,
she's really good.
Incredibly gifted, but she was always singular. You know, like just incredibly, just different, talented, and laser focused on what she was doing. The fact that she didn't have time for a goofy wannabe theater actor doesn't surprise me.
Wannabe theater actor? What are you talking about?
I never did theater. Like I didn't go to Broadway. That wasn't my thing. I took a
but like that doesn't take away your insane talent and what you've made a career out of right now.
That's true. I wouldn't say wannabe voice actor. I wasn't ever like a huge theater actor. I did a ton of Shakespeare, but I love Shakespeare.
So then how did it get going when you got out here to LA and to discover, it's not theater, but it's
stand-up comedy? I actually stood in line outside the Comedy Store in the Laugh Factory, and I thought that's how I was going to break into the business. And the business was like, no, you don't think you're funny. I ended up doing voiceover because it's what I was able to book jobs doing, actually. Yeah. And I always tried to do voiceover. I made my own tapes back then. We made our own cassette tapes. I made my own, and I took it to everybody I could find in LA, and then nobody wanted to represent me. This was back before CDs, which is back before MP3s, which is, screw it, I'm old. And nobody would have me, but eventually I got in because I just was tenacious and, could do a lot of different voices. So they were like, eventually,
Speaking of which, are you currently in London right now? It looks like it's very cold over there.
No, actually, oddly enough, I'm out in my backyard in Arizona, and it was a bit chilly. It was 65 this morning, and in Arizona, there's no humidity, so it actually felt more like 50, and it was just a little chilly. It's fine now. I probably don't need to wear it, but I like the way I look with my collar up and my sexy scarf on, so I'm going to leave it there.
Yes, it's lovely. That's perfect. Yes, it actually is a great look. I love the scarf and the jacket, and all those colors are becoming.
Yes, very nice. What goes with my slight salt and pepper that I'm engaging with here on the sides of my head.
Dude, salt and pepper is where it's at, I think.
They're in effect.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
I grew up with salt and pepper. So,
oh my gosh. One of the comments, Cerber Cifrado goes, back before CDs and MP3s. He goes, I felt that one. I used to listen to Jim Croce on my parents' LP.
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, Beatles 1 was frequently played in my house on our hi-fi. And it was just a turntable. And I grew up on records, for sure.
That's so crazy.
I'm dating the shit out of myself right now.
Dude, whatever. You know what's funny though? Like,
I mean, Nintendo, the original Nintendo ES, the NES, that was my game console of choice, right?
Isn't
To quickly
Atari before
segue.
that, though?
Oh, yes. I used to play Atari all the time. We played Indiana Jones, and it was just like these 7 pixels swinging like this, and you'd grab the vine, and your character was like 8 pixels. Like, it was ridiculous. But, yeah, I mean, most of my gaming time when I was growing up was spent on the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES. So you know, the original Super Mario.
So how does it feel to work in video games right now? Like, is that huge? True?
Oh, I don't game much now because I have 2 beautiful daughters, and I spent all the time that I'm not working with them or on other projects. But yeah, I used to game all the time, and for games to become what they've become today, which is truly immersive, interactive experiences, you know, less like the video games used to be in the arcade. Like it's like NES was sort of an imitation of what art games were in the arcade when I was growing up. But video games today are a completely different thing. They are immersive, fantastic, story-driven experiences that I'm thrilled to be a part of. Like, I'm sure there's actors out there who are like, video games? Well, never. I mean, I can't even see myself wanting to audition for that. But I love games. There is an amount of freedom that I think the creators of games get that they don't get in other medium.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I'm on Avengers Assemble, or I'm on Spider-Man or Young Justice.
Little projects no one's ever heard of. Yeah,
but they do have to walk a line on television, right? Yeah. For kids or whatever. And video games, they just have a lot of the shackles removed, which anytime you're part of a creative project and they're free to do stuff, it's just a blast. It's just so fun, you know, and you get to riff and do things, and they're like, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, we'll put that in here, do this. And can you do this character? I think I'm up to 20. Oh, no, I just did 3 more. So 31 characters in Elder Scrolls Online.
Holy cow. That's
ridiculous.
Amazing. How do you keep them straight? I mean, I guess
I don't. I'm like, play, who do you want me to be? Okay, is it the same as the guy that I did before? Play it again. Okay, I know how I'm doing it. Or is it like, do you want it to be like that guy? Yes, it's a Dossamer or whatever. It's a dark elf, but this one needs to be more gruff, you know. All right, so here I go. Dark elf. Fine. I will see you in the forest soon. You know, it's like you make modifications based on the stuff that you've done before, you know. I don't know. It's a blast. It's very challenging.
Yeah, totally. Well, Tamstri writes, without games, I may have croaked of loneliness during this pandemic.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many shows you can stream, and then they're over. Right? So games you can keep playing.
But games also are interactive, so you're not a passive viewer. You're in charge, and you're also.
Or you can be with friends. Yeah, you can be with people. Yeah, right. I mean,
well,
I don't call up somebody and go, okay, we're gonna watch Bridgerton together. Oh, it's so lovely. Look at those
Although
stars.
we could, I wouldn't mind watching the Duke with you. You know.
Okay, sure, that works for me. Just call me.
Who do you play in Spider-Man? What's the role there?
I actually played Alistair Smythe, which in the comic books is one of Peter Parker's nemesis at school. And then he's a creative genius who always is in second place to Peter and creates these robots and everything. And Alistair Smythe. And that's in the series.
How does he sound?
So wait, let me be fair. So Spider-Man, the most recent series that was on, I played Alistair Smythe and Scorpion. And in Spider-Man PS4, the game where Yuri plays Spider-Man, I'm Scorpion in the game.
Okay.
So depends on what you're talking about. So Scorpion in the game was very much roid rage. He was like, really, Spider-Man? Is that the best you can do? You know, he's just this amped up on juice all the time.
You play a lot of villains, right?
I do. I mean, I play a fair bit of heroes. I mean, Lux is a hero. Technically, Razor's a hero, even though he's an angry hero. Kid Flash on Young Justice is a hero.
Can you give me their voices and because I want to know how they sound?
Yeah, so Kid Flash sounds like me, but he's just got a little more amp. He's like, "Don't worry, Megalicious, I got you. Fine. Magic is the real lie. A major load." He's a little bit of a dude.
What is he? 15?
Yeah, he starts the series at 14, and then by the end, I believe he's 17, going on 18, I think.
It's crazy
still
because I'm looking at you right now, and like you sound like an adult. And as soon as you said that Kid Flash sounds a little bit like you, and then you just kind of pitched him up a tiny bit, I was like, oh my God, it totally sounds like a 15-year-old kid. But when I talk to you, I don't think I'm talking to a 15-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's why I try not to show my face, because I look old now. But and then Forager is a bug, and he's on the new season of Young Justice. And Forager sounds like this. You are now in Forager's hive. He makes all these like sounds with his, and he's a bug, basically, literally a bug.
How does one come up with those sounds? You just go.
That was actually me listening to an NPR special on cicadas.
Oh my God, here we go.
So like, Major Geek Alert, yes. So I'm listening to this show, NPR, and I love the people. They are so wonderful, and they fill me with joy. And they had this show about bugs, and I listened for noises. So they basically, NPR had this show about the sound that you hear when cicadas are in the trees and they're making that sound. And apparently it's 3 different sounds. It's and those 3 sounds together make that cacophonic like white noise that they make in the trees. So I was like, oh, because they played the sound separately in the special. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to be playing a bug, so I will use this. And so I went to Greg and Brandon, the creators of Young Justice, and I was like, guys, we have to have him make bug sounds. And I did the sounds for them, and they're like, yeah, sure, do it. So I was like, so yeah, and his voice is very bug-like. Thank you. And he's very analytical, but also he thinks he's humorous. And he's adorable. A lot of people really love Forager in the new season. Yeah.
Oh my God. So it's so interesting, right? Because we take all these voice acting classes and how to create characters and all this stuff, but like just living a normal human life, you're driving to Burbank, you put NPR on, you listen to cicadas, and you go, I'm going to use this one day.
Yeah,
you know?
all the time. I mean, the world is giving you plenty of data, plenty of information. You just have to turn your cup. It's raining all the time. You just have to turn your cup right side up, right?
Guys, hello, are you taking notes? This is brilliant, people. I mean, I do talk to myself when listening to things like NPR, or, you know, they're interviewing somebody who is in Lebanon, and so they're talking like this. And I feasibly won't play in Arabic, but an Arabic character. But I go, oh, okay, if I ever want to invent an accent for, you know, this alien who comes from another planet and is going to attack in some video game, like maybe all the time. Like this, and it's my invented country, so who gives a flying fuck, or planet?
Well,
you know?
you have to have all that stuff at hand, because in our job, you're 1 second you're just being a soldier or whatever, and the next second they go, okay, we've got this incidental character for you real quick, and you're like, okay, what does he sound like? Well, they're like, it's from a country where we've kind of had people do them kind of like they're a cross between Lebanese and then, you know, Croatian. I don't know, just throw something like that, and you go, okay, and then you get a chance to go into that thing that you just have in your pocket. Totally. And it happens all the time. I mean, I don't know, I'm just doing like these voices for this Google Glass thing where you actually put the phone inside this piece of cardboard. It wasn't Google Glass, it was a VR, Google VR. And you can put your Android phone inside this cardboard and it turns into a VR screen. And like, I did like 9 characters, and the guy's just throwing stuff out. He's behind the glass and he's like, okay, yeah, could you do this one like, I don't know, a baritone Yoda? And I'm like, okay, sure. It is very good that we will eat you. Okay. So like I'm like, it's like, turned out, like, I don't know. The guy said stuff and he's like, how about like Pepe Le Pew on acid or something? It's just so bizarre, man. With the things that they throw at you in the middle of the stuff. If they think you can do it, right?
Yes.
Like if word gets out, oh, Spisak, you know, you got some difficult character, 7-foot lizard guy, call that dude in. And you're like, okay. And you know, and you got to do it.
I told this story to the Twitch chat once upon a time. I work on a cartoon. You know, it's a chat. It's a scrolling chat. I love them to pieces.
Of course.
I get called in for incidentals a lot for Victor and Valentino. It's a cartoon on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Cartoon Networks. And I do have characters that like have their little story arc or whatever. But then like I went in one for this. For an episode with Fred Tatasciore. He's the angry farmer, and I play this sexy cat.
I love Fred.
An angry beaver. I love Fred to pieces.
Did you just say you play sexy cat and angry beaver?
A sexy cat, an angry beaver, yes. Or squirrel, one of them. They cut it. It was an angry beaver from. I decided it was from Brooklyn, and then.
I love an angry beaver from Brooklyn. It's so great. It's so great.
Listen, I know that your head's going somewhere else, but we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it right here. And,
no, I'm just saying. I mean, if I got a chance to do an angry beaver, that would be it. That would be it.
It had to be from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
But the other one was a dumb chicken, and I had an idea of what the dumb chicken was gonna sound
their
like.
Character names,
Right? Yeah.
Beaver, sexy cat, and dumb chicken.
Colette Sunderman was like, "Nah, I'm not digging that chicken," and so I gave her a few of my other. Like, I thought, okay, they'll like this dumb chicken idea.
This is the kind of conversations we have, people.
Yes.
So they went through sexy cat and angry beaver, and I did okay on those. They might cut them, whatever. But then they're like, dumb chicken. Can you pull out a dumb chicken? And Colette was like, I'm not digging your dumb chicken. These are the kind of conversations we have. I'm not really feeling the dumb chicken. Could you make him a little more chicken and possibly a little more dumb? Okay, go ahead, give it a try.
Well, the funny thing is...
I'm going to play a dumb chicken.
I did go in and I thought the chicken was going to be dopey, so I couldn't talk like this, right? They didn't like that, so then I thought, oh, maybe she's like a valley girl chicken who's just real stupid and likes to touch her hair.
That would be hilarious.
No. And then
they said no. I like that they got a standard for the dumb chicken, and they're like, you got to clear the bar on the dumb chicken. Like, they have a standard. Well, I love it.
But then, Tam Street knows the story already and goes, the chicken on Coke. I said, what if the chicken's on Coke? And it was just this chicken that, was super amped up.
And they had to say yes to that. Tell me they said yes to that.
Of course they said yes.
Because it's freaking brilliant.
I'll send you a clip that Danny has. Chicken on Coke. Yeah, but it's because the chicken knows that it's going to be turned into lunch or dinner. So
right.
And of course, the children watching this show on Cartoon Network don't know it's on Coke. I decided it was on Coke.
No, it's just dumb chicken in the credits.
Yeah,
right.
So that was my
chicken on Coke.
The other interesting crossover that I was going to tell you was I went to a convention with Zara Fuzzle. Have you worked with them in the booth for Young Justice? No? They're on Young Justice. Oh, and on Insta, he's Childish Gambino, but is his name Z or Zeke?
Yeah, Z. We call him Z.
Got it.
Sarah knows me very well.
Oh, okay. Cool. And we were at a con with them, and Steve was there. We had dinner. Steve. Greg. I'm like, who's Steve? The
People
writer.
call him Steve. Yeah, Greg. Yeah, exactly. Greg Wiseman. Yeah.
And I was sneaky, and I wrote a little note on a Post-it to put on his table at the con. While we were on a break, I said, "You're going into a deep sleep. I'm gonna hypnotize you. 1, 2, 3. If you need a Hispanic character in Young Justice, call Carolina Ravassa." And I put the little note on his table, and I waited patiently. And then he looked over. He's like, "You got it." It hasn't happened to this day, but I'm like, I'm hoping.
They're like that. Greg and Brandon are slow burn guys, right? So they plan things very far in advance. So the stuff that people are experiencing now, they had plans for 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right? So they're slow burn guys, but don't worry. They won't. They don't forget. They don't forget people who are good people.
Awesome. Well, yeah, but it's just a beautiful show, and I think it's created a lot of impact.
It was written to give, I don't know, a human perspective to the comic books that a lot of times gets left out, and it's hero-y stuff and on the surfacey stuff. I mean, we had a character that had, addiction issues and all kinds of serious stuff that they're not afraid to, we have a character that dies and leaves somebody behind who they love dearly, right? Without spoiling things for people. So, that type of show. And I think that's what draws people to it, is it has a grounded nature, right? Even though it's fantastical, it's superhero stuff and fun to watch.
But I think that these stories, the more and more I go to Comic Cons and understand what really affects people. I mean, I watched, One Night in Miami. Have you seen that yet?
No.
It's been nominated for Oscars and all these awards, and it's
I'll have to watch
a fictional thing of what would happen if these people talk in a hotel room one night, and it's incredible. And I feel like cartoons and video games have affected people in such an incredible way that we have no idea. So like Young Justice is influencing kids or adults more than we even know, Yeah,
and I didn't understand the level to which it had an impact until I went to my first con after Young Justice had been able to be binged, right? Yeah. So it came out on Cartoon Network, but then in order to get a season 3, there was this whole campaign to bring Young Justice back and to binge watch it. Uh-huh. And after it became that sort of internet phenomenon where people were able to binge watch it, and I went to my first Comic-Con, the people, the beautiful human beings who came up to me and told me how much it impacted their life changed mine. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, my early career and doing all the work that I do, you get self-focused a lot. You really want the next job and you want the next big thing and you want to feel like you're having a career. And that's only natural when you haven't done a lot of stuff, right? But after that, it felt like I was doing more of the work for them than just me. Yeah. And it was, I mean, that was around the time that my first daughter was born. And actually, no, it was my second daughter. And it felt just my life in general was changing toward a lot of less selfish points of view. Yeah. But that was a pretty big one for me.
That's amazing.
The first Comic-Con. I mean, had somebody come up to me and tell me that it kept them from dying in one way or another, not to be too intimate, but like saved their life. Uh-huh. And like it was the only thing that they were watching, and it was holding them to this world. And like, what a beautiful thing for us to be able to do. Like, I'm not a paramedic. I faint at the sight of friggin' blood, right? Like, I'm not like, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be like, hi, welcome to Walmart. Like, I wouldn't have, like.
Wait, what's your Walmart persona? Give me your Walmart persona.
That was it. Actually, it's probably more like, hi, welcome to Walmart.
He sounds like he's 68.
That's where he is. I'll push the cart for you. You can stay there. No worries.
No, now he's going into like Lord of the Rings. He's like a
Gollum?
What? No, more like an old.
My precious likes its tricks, hobbits. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yo, I meant to ask you, what's one of your favorite characters? We're all over the place, but I love it. What's one of your favorite characters that you just love voicing because it's like fun, intricate, super three-dimensional, like all the things?
Well, I mean, I love playing the Joker because there's such a short list there, and that's like, the pinnacle as far as I was concerned. Like some guys want to grow up to be Batman. I just wanted to be the Joker. And so I got to play the Lego Joker and regular Joker in Batman Hush. So Mark couldn't do it, and I asked them, "Did you want me to do something like that?" And they go, "No, just make it your own." And so I got to do my own take.
What does he sound like,
Mr. J? Oh gosh, what does he say? He spends a lot of a scene being choked to death, so that's a lot of fun. He says, "That doesn't even sound right, does it? I'm also looking for Harley. Have you seen her?" He's very nonchalant in that one.
But creepy and scary,
Yeah, at the same
time.
It's
still, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I need to shout out Cyber Sofrato has had 2 really funny comments. One is one of the in the chat. They have funny usernames. Cyber Sofrato.
Yes.
His eyes aren't dead enough inside to be a Walmart worker, so you need to work on that. There we go. And he was also commenting when you were doing that. Cicada stuff. Reminds me of an outtake I saw from Moana. They had Alan Tudyk doing the chicken noises. He looked at the camera and went, "I went to Juilliard for this." And that is hysterical. I just saw Raya and the Last Dragon last night, and he plays the little, the other little creature in that movie. And it's
Alan?
really, yeah, they're really freaking cute noises. You know, it's just I'm fascinated with you guys who do this, and Dee Bradley with your like, you know, like
like whatever shit. Like just people ask like, what do you like? I played the Spyro in Skylanders. Like Dragon Spiral when he wasn't talking in I can't remember which Skylanders it was, and Skylanders, you know, and he's this and he's this baby dragon because they grow real big. And anyway, so like anything, you know, they'll just be like, what can you do? And you'll see auditions.
Does your throat end up okay when
those don't bother me. It's really just the games where there's heavy screaming. Action and screaming that I tend to get taxed out. I just try not to sign up for those anymore. Like people, I'm like, how vocally stressful is it? I got to keep those to a minimum anymore.
Yeah, especially if it's not like the new Thor video game where you're going to be the nemesis. You know, it's like
I do play Loki.
Oh, shut the front door! I didn't know that.
Oh, all the time I play Loki.
How funny! In which things? Everyone wants to know.
Just I don't know. Look it up on IMDb. I can't remember the games.
Guys, look it up on IMDb. It's
Marvel's. By gosh, there's a Marvel Universe thing. I played Deadpool and Loki. I don't know.
You're like whatever. Just
I'm embarrassed because I played Loki like a crap load, and I don't remember the titles because they always have code names. So I very rarely, unless someone comes to me and says, okay, do you remember Hyena? Okay, that's the code name, but it's actually this Marvel game. Yeah. So I don't,
they're asking if you remember.
But I do play Loki.
Kyo and Zach Bell or Zach Bell?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's an anime that was on, I don't know, CBS Family or something, or ABC Family many years ago. Yeah, of course I played Kyo. Zach Air!
That's why I asked you.
Who's like, gets this book of magic and doesn't quite know how to learn it. And Zach Bell is his partner, familiar, played by Debbie Derryberry. And it's anime. So we have a bucket of fun. So if the person who asked me that question, like, basically, I'm going to tell them to get some Yellowtail. That's from Zach Bell. What were you saying?
That name, did she change it, or that's like legit what she was born into?
No, I have no clue. I never asked her that.
It's so beautiful. It's just so interesting.
Look, is your name fake?
I don't.
Let's be honest. Is your name a lie? Can we just get that off the table? I never had that conversation.
I wonder if that was the name that she was born with, you know, or if she just, I don't know.
Well, chat her up out there. She's in the ether. She's out there in cyberspace.
I'll give her a shout out. Yeah. See if she wants to be on my Twitch interviews.
You should. She's done a ton of anime, like ridiculous amount.
Do you watch anime? Do you enjoy it?
I did growing up. I mean, like Gundam, and there was a bunch of stuff. I mean, Transformers and all that can kind of be considered anime when I was growing up. So, but I don't now. I don't. Gosh, the only entertainment I have time to take in at the end of the day is like, I don't know. I'll turn on like Lost in Space or something on Netflix, and I'll see, you know. But I have a stack of SAG DVD or Blu-rays I'm supposed to watch. You know.
Dude, tell me about it. But I don't have a DVD player. Where does one put these all? Like, that's the problem. We live in a modern world, and we're still receiving.
You know where they play LPs? You just turn this DVD upside down, and you stick the needle on it, and it's good to go.
What is your daughter's favorite thing, like their claim to fame for daddy? Like, oh my God, we love that he's on this show. Or they're like, whatever, he's a voice actor.
Yeah, well, oh boy, I can't. My oldest really doesn't have a claim to fame. Like, if I asked her, hey, what have I been in? She'd go, well, Young Justice Staff. Leave me alone. My youngest.
What stuff they enjoy watching though?
Well, my youngest is into anime, and she's into she's an artist, and she was going to download a game yesterday, and she's like, Dad, can we put this game on here? And I was like, oh, hey, that's Riot Games. Yeah, cool. I'm in their games. And she goes, what? And I go, yeah, I mean, I do some stuff for League of Legends and whatever. It's like, what? like it was so weird because, you know, they don't know what I'm doing. I'm in the closet yelling, and then whatever. So Yeah, I think she's coming around to the fact that her dad is a really cool, I've always had a cool job, but that I've done stuff that people would have heard of, right?
Well, because wait, how old is she now?
She's 15 now.
That's the thing, right? You start talking about stuff, and then if they're into a specific thing, then you're like, oh, yeah, you know, like that's what I mean. Not that it like makes you cool, but like any of my friends who like play Overwatch, their kids play Overwatch.
Oh yeah.
You know a character. You're so cool. So all of a sudden it gives you like street cred where you didn't have it, even though you've been doing this for your whole life.
That's actually really cool. And yes, that started to happen. But if she had to pick a favorite thing that I've done, I'd be Young Justice is probably her favorite. I think. Cool. I think it's Young Justice. I think that would be her favorite one, to be honest.
Like, holy shit, that's why I asked.
I haven't done a lot of anime recently, so that's probably the reason. Because I'm not... Tiger and Bunny was like one of the things I did Scried, but those aren't recent. So, anyway, what were you saying?
No, just that, like, I asked, with some people, I know how to announce them. Oh, the voice of this, or like known for this, but like...
Yeah, I'm not known for anything. That's the weirdest thing about my career is like, I didn't play Spider-Man. I played Scorpion. I didn't play like Superman. I mean, the Joker is probably the first thing, but that took me 22 years to get that role, right? So, and I'm not really known as the Joker. Mark Hamill is known as the Joker. You know, that there's, so yeah. I mean, I'm not the voice of anything, but I'm the voice of everything. I don't know.
But that's also, I wasn't trying to say that. What I was trying to say is that as I scoured through your IMDb, I was like, I don't know what like the most important is because these are all like huge names, you know? Like you worked on Fortnite, dude. Fortnite was one of the games you played a few years ago.
I played a couple. I mean, when they do it, not everything has voices in Fortnite, you know, I mean, but I mean, I even did the bear, and most people are like, the bear in Fortnite? And if you're a Fortnite player, you know who that is. I am a bear. And you'll know what that is if you play Fortnite. So yeah. But I like it. I like not being known for one thing. And I think the reason I like that is because I get to attack any piece of work without other people's impressions of what I sound like.
Exactly.
Right? Like really, if you asked people what does Jason sound like, it wouldn't be this sort of nasally / baritones. Like it's no one has ever hired me for my voice. This voice has never been anywhere except for maybe there's a new Pacific Rim anime. It just came out on Netflix and I'm the dad.
And that's how you sound, just like that.
It's pretty much like this. I mean, it's close. It's got a little bit more of that bass that I'm putting in it right now.
But your voice quality right now has a really delicious sound to it. Like
it does. Not this one right here, but this one where I'm like the dad, and I let that bass come into it just a little bit.
No, but all of it, though, all of it, you know, it's a good sound.
Oh, thank you.
They're digging. Can I ask about Pacific Rim?
Yeah, ask whatever they're saying. Pacific Rim the Black. Yeah, it's the one that just came out on Netflix. Yeah, and so I'm in anime now. I'm now in anime now. Yeah,
yay!
I pop in and out, you know.
And you're in Legends of Runeterra, Mage Seeker.
What? Yes.
Conservator. You're like maybe.
Sure. Yes, I am. I guess.
Or maybe someone's just commenting and digging that they love that of Riot Games, but I'm guessing
that's Riot Games. Oh yes, that's Riot Games. Yeah. So I'm the Mage Seeker and a bunch of other ones. I'm a bunch of Yordles and I'm One Punch Pablo. I'm an octopus. So if you're ever playing, I mean, so people will know if they play. I'll play One Punch Pablo, and it kind of sounds like Fat Bastard. I got you on the ropes. Like he's this guy, Scottish octopus. He's actually drunk. And,
oh my God. Someone's loving that you're Pablo.
Actually, I play One Punch Pablo. Give it another go, you know. And like, so that voice is hilarious because we're standing in the booth and JB Blanc plays a lot of accents. He's like an accent wizard and master. And
I had him here last week.
Yeah, so JB and I, the first thing we ever worked on together was Uncharted Golden Abyss. So I played the bad guy, Drake's friend in Uncharted Golden Abyss. A lot of people don't know I was in that game. So anyway, it's JB and I were just like, well, okay, what accent do we do now? Because I was doing so many voices for that game that they're talking about. And they're like, he's like, this is an octopus. It says here, maybe Scottish with a question mark. You want to make him drunk? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. So I got to do a drunk Scottish octopus with JB, and we were dying. We were dying just recording this because, you know, I was just throwing shit out there. Oh, you think you're funny? Oh, you're not. How many eyes do you have? You know, like all the times. It's just, I did so much. I didn't even know what they left in the freaking game anymore. Like, it was so fun.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy about games too. We never know what's going to make it.
Yeah, so, you never know. Yeah.
Another question about Pacific Rim, the Black. Did they ever consider having you do an Australian accent, or was your character also?
I'm actually in the credits as an Australian. So in the credits of the Black, if you listen, I'm the two male voices in the opening credits as well.
Oh, funny.
So yeah, you know, you need to evacuate Perth, Sydney, Melbourne. They're all on fire. Run for your lives. You know,
run for your lives. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
I
get stuck in my Aussie. I can't quite do it. It gets nasal, yes, but it's not. I got to work on that one.
Yeah. So the idea is to just draw it back from any Aussie that you've ever heard.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, someone loves your laugh, Jason. You should bottle it and sell it.
Well, thank you very much. I laugh a lot. I mean, life, you have to laugh at this existence, man. You have to have a good time. So
absolutely.
Always laugh.
I was going to ask you a good question. Would it be too much to ask? This is somebody, not me.
Whatever.
To do an impromptu story time with Razor. Can you do a little short, like, mini monologue?
Oh gosh. Yes. So Razor, I put out these little YouTube videos once upon a time that I was just creating because I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't working a lot, and Young Justice was over, and Green Lantern was over. And so I was like, I know what I could do. I could make up stuff that these characters would say and have fun with it. So Storytime with Razor is, I grabbed children's books because my daughters were young. So I went in there and I grabbed things like everybody poops. You poop, I poop, everybody poops. Like, and Razor has this dry delivery, and it's so great, you know? And then Razor would get like fed up with these stupid stories, and he would be stuff like, you know, I can't believe this is how you train your children to go to the bathroom. Like, he would just like lose his mind. Gosh, so I wish I had like the Hungry Caterpillar, like the words to the Hungry Caterpillar.
No, but that was enough. Like, I was already like, holy cow.
Yeah. It's hilarious, actually. Wow, and I read Dr. Seuss a lot as Razor, so it would be like, you know, I will not eat them in a box. I will not eat them with a fox. I will not eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere. Like, he was just like this. Anyway, story time.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Funny.
You know, as you just said, like, I'm Pablo, you know, and you're doing the thing. I was like, because you are all these characters that like people have come across and love, like the bear, all of them. You should do like this like 2-minute video where like, I'm Pablo in this thing, and then I'm this guy in this thing, and it's just like a tiny reel of your characters because they don't know, but they're so amazing.
Good. They don't have to know. They don't have to know that I do it. I don't care that they don't know that it's me. Like this. Like, I don't care. I want them in the story, in the game, enjoying the character. And if they see me doing it, like, I've seen this look on kids' faces, right? Like, you're at a Comic-Con and the kid is like, you're Kid Flash or you're whoever, and you do the voice, and then they're like, it doesn't compute. This face is not the face. And they lose their mind. So I don't want them associating this middle-aged dude.
That's the fun thing. Like,
voices.
I love watching. I geek out, even though I don't game. Like, I geek out watching Fred go into all his characters and watching, you know, because
I geek out watching Fred do absolutely anything. I love Fred. Fred and I, we have a thing, and so do me and Yuri. Like, I just love those guys. They're my buddies.
Aw, are you close?
I love them so much. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he can be on here with you. I'll give him the contact info, and you should have him on. He's more famous than I am.
I already have him scheduled for.
He's more famous than I am. That's for sure. People know who he is.
Because he's Spider-Man.
He had when he had his baby. I took him like, you know, barbecue. like, over his house. Because I'm like, you guys are going to have your hands full. So here.
You're like, because I know.
Yeah. Do you have any booze? Buy more.
Yes. Not while you're breastfeeding, but.
Yeah.
So they have a question which reminded me of the fact that you have, in fact, fixed my computer. Super random question, but on Jason's weekend, he's a programmer. Does he still do any? Do you remember you helped me? You guys, he was so sweet. I was having computer issues on a set, and I'm like trying to figure it out. And then I'm asking one of the kids on the video game set, like, because he does programming stuff. I'm like, can you help me with this? And he's like, and then Jason's like, can I help you? And I'm like, and I'm thinking, this voice actor doesn't know what he's talking about. And the kid programmer who's a nerd, Will, Jason comes in and goes, you're done. And then like all of a sudden my thing was clean because it was acting really slow. My computer acts slow all the time.
I'll tell you, I act slow. Please don't. And I whispered in your ear, don't tell anyone. Don't tell a soul.
Did tell me that actually at the time, and now I'm broadcasting it live.
So yes, I am a nerd, a huge computer geek, and there's a behavioral health company, healthcare company, who's helped someone that I love dearly in my life, multiple people here, and I do programming work for them just to help them help people because they're horribly underfunded and stuff like that, and like I'll do it for a cause that I believe in, but I'm a huge geek. I mean, my studio ran Linux all the way up until the pandemic, and anybody on the call knows that Linux is an operating system that you can install on your computer, much the same as Windows or Mac. And at the pandemic, there was requirements from certain studios that in order to do home recording, because during the pandemic we couldn't go in to record, so our home studios had to be the recording studio. They needed me to have certain software that they wanted me to have a Mac, so I did. But yeah, I'm a huge nerd, geek wise. I geek it up. Ask me any question about Linux, and you'll get an answer.
Linux is also Robbie Damon's baby. Did you know that?
Linux or Lynx? Links.
I think it's Linux.
Linux. If he named his baby, or as they would say in Finland, Linux, then yeah, I would be really surprised. That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's something with an X, and it's something like Linux. Linux?
Linux.
It's not Linux.
Okay, well that would be dope because Robbie and I have the same agent, and we've hung out a few times. But I would be unaware of his love of the geekery to this point.
Now I'm going crazy. Like
Well, you can text me afterwards. I mean, I don't know how long we have left here. But
don't worry, I'm going to get you out in 7 minutes, Boo. You're good.
All right.
You are so good.
I just didn't want to talk too long. I don't know what you have stuff to do.
What? You're silly. Did you have to record in your closet or with pillows? Guys, no, he has a nice setup.
I mean, I have a nice setup. Right? I have a setup. Yeah, I have a room that I had built into my house, and that was before I could actually build things, because now I can build a whole house.
Wait a minute, but you've been living in Arizona while a lot of the voice work happens.
Yeah, my parents live here.
You don't drive here that often.
I do. Like I drive there every week. Basically, I used to do that, and during the pandemic, I didn't because my parents are old. And since they're very old, I wanted to make sure they didn't die. So that's why I was here for the majority of the pandemic. And they're now fully vaccinated. They've had their shots. So yeah, now they're.
The thing.
Have your parents spayed or neutered, kids?
The thing about the pandemic is they still weren't having people come in person anyway, so you were fine.
No, it doesn't matter. Like it didn't matter where I lived, and I just wanted to make sure that I could offer the help that if they needed
Absolutely. So do you think that now after the pandemic you'll be able to spend more time in Arizona, not having to drive to record here because we've all figured out this remote?
Yeah, I think so. I think there are certain characters that I don't want to do. I want to do in person. There's something about the feeling you get in the booth with the voice directors like Colette and Jamie Thompson, and Wes Gleason, and these are incredibly talented people, and they serve as part of the artistry of the piece. Yeah. A voice director is just as much a part of the artistry that we're creating as the writers or anybody else, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And some characters I don't want to do without that. Like if I was to do some more work as the Joker, then I would want to be in person for that. If I was to do, stuff on Young Justice, if it's a character I already have established, we've done some of that stuff remotely. But
they're still going to direct you via Source Connect.
They are. It's just not the same. Like to me, and again, it's only certain roles, right? Like I would feel that way about. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. And there's something really nice about being able to show up to the studio and bump into people and maybe record with a few people. Like that's a ton of fun. I actually haven't really gotten to work with them closely, but I've been lucky enough to do episodes on cartoons where Fred has been in the booth, or Dee Bradley, or Yuri. That's actually how I met him. And I just go, oh my God, like watching them to me is the best learning experience on the planet. And I wish all of the cartoons we could record like that. I just did an episode of Scooby-Doo that just aired. It was my first time on Scooby-Doo. Yes. And I play the villain who gets the famous line. And
me too.
Oh, sweet. What's your character?
We're twinsies. Mine was in a Lego Scooby-Doo, and cool. I got to play this dude that I don't know. Got to basically say the best line in the world.
Yeah, my
plan would have worked, except for you meddling kids and that stupid dog and that plant. It was this very Lego. Yeah.
Mine had to do with pie, but in that episode, there's also just a small singer called Axl Rose who is in the actual episode. Of course, I never got to meet him, but I'm like, I'm in an episode with Axl Rose.
Did you get to record in person, or was that during the pandemic?
It was so anticlimactic. I was in my closet.
Oh, shoot!
Like 2 by 2. I literally am standing there mad tight. Yeah.
No!
I know.
Because you would have got to work with Frank and everybody.
Dude, don't. It's okay.
I'm not going to rub it in, but wow, you really missed out. So,
well, my first Disney gig too. I worked on a Disney pilot, and it was in my closet. I'm like,
oh boy, I love Disney. Oh boy,
it was a really, really fun episode, and then I just don't, But anyway, we have 3 minutes, Jason. Before we go, we no subscription, so I don't have to shout anybody out on the Twitch guys, but sending you much love for all of everything. What are some things you'd like to let these peeps know? Where can they find you on social media? If
I don't have social media. I don't have.
Well, I've been tagging some guy on Insta.
No, I got rid of it. I don't post on Instagram anymore.
Am I tagging the wrong Jason Spisak?
You might be, but no, I have an Instagram account. I just haven't been there posting in forever.
Oh, okay. Because you did Streamily, so you posted that.
I have a mixed relationship with social media because I love the fans, and I've met so many of them, and I even, text message them and wish them well and help them. But there's just something about social media, the way that it's constructed today, that I can't stay away from some of the negative elements of it. And I don't mean that fans being mean to me. I just mean if I start reading any of that stuff, it just takes me to the bad headspace where there's things I can't do anything about that frustrate me. So I don't do social media. I just don't. And I'm like the happiest guy in the world. Like I don't spend my time there on Facebook or Twitter or anything.
So where can what fun stuff
for me,
No, and I respect that. And I that's awesome. Social media has helped me a ton for work. Thank God. Like I've gotten to travel the world thanks to social media and Sombra. And I
remember you saying that actually, and I was so happy for you for that people would reach out to you over social media and say, could you please come be a part of our con or whatever? And that's awesome.
Yeah. So I do see the good stuff. I totally see the bad stuff. Absolutely. And it can be hard.
Just ignore it, Jason. Just ignore it. Just don't look at it.
No.
And I don't know. I'm too curious.
Also, though, you work enough where you're busy doing voice work. You're building a freaking house for your friends. There's stuff happening that you're not, the days that I'm on a series regular on a TV show, I don't know if I'm going to be posting so much. You know what I mean? So if we're not
But you-
shouting out your socials, what are we shouting out? What can people watch that has
Well,
come
they should
out?
watch. They should watch Pacific Rim: The Black. It just came out like a couple days ago or whatever it was. So Pacific Rim: The Black. I played dad, and I mean, Young Justice is out there, and
Bam.
you can definitely watch that. Games wise, I mean, there's another show that I cannot even talk about that is just. I got to play this role that seminal for me in my career. It's not a role that anybody else has played. It's an original character. But the lid is still on me for much of that.
Yeah, of course. NDAs.
Go watch Intersect. It's a movie written and created by my friend Gus Holwerda. It's Lovecraftian. Before Lovecraft Country was even a thing, we had written this and filmed this film. It took a while to get it on media, on streaming and stuff, but it's there. So go watch Intersect. If you do those things and then do something great with your life, you don't have to watch my stuff.
You are so humble. Guys, thank you for joining us for this awesome episode with Jason.
I love everybody out there. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And keep booming and booping, guys.
Yeah. Bye.